order to utilize the property for a 44-unit townhome development. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kathy?
Thank you, sir. The applicant, Lamar Smith Signature Group, has requested a zoning map amendment from the CR Commercial Retail Zoning District to the R4 High Density Residential Zoning District for approximately 5.88 acres of land located along Packing House Road. The applicant intends to develop 44 townhome units, which are not a permissible use under the subject property's current CR Commercial Retail Zoning District regulations. Therefore, the applicant has requested a zoning map amendment in order to allow for the more intensive land use. It is staff's opinion that the proposed zoning map amendment to allow for the development of 44 townhomes is consistent with the 2019-2029 future development map, as well as the Statesboro Comprehensive Plan that proposes residential redevelopment, as well as providing an appropriate transition from a public road to lower density residential uses surrounding the subject property. If you can show the slides. You can see in red the subject property. The future land use map shows the area, the proposed land use to be residential redevelopment, which is consistent. And the zoning map shows the commercial retail surrounded by other residential zones. And that is the site plan. And then there's a picture on the top of the site itself, and then pictures of surrounding properties. Okay. At the July 7, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the Commission voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the zoning map amendment requested by application RZ 20-06-01 with the following enumerated staff conditions. 1, use of the subject property is restricted as follows: to single-family townhouse dwellings only. No more than 44 total dwelling units at a maximum density of 7.48 units per acre, whichever is less, based on the total acreage zone. Accessory uses and structures as approved by the planning director, and no home occupation shall be permitted unless approved by special exception. Also, the proposed townhome development shall adhere to the following development standards. A minimum of 20% of the total lot area shall be devoted to green space. Each green space shall have a tree canopy density of at least 17,424 square feet of canopy for every 43,560 square feet of green space, which totals approximately 40%. In terms of exterior building materials, the principal structure shall have a minimum of 50% finished product on the exterior walls of the building, consisting of brick, hard coat stucco, or fiber cement siding. Buildings shall utilize at least 2 of the following design features to provide visual relief along the front of the residential building structures: dormers, gables, recessed entries, covered front porches, pillars or posts, and/or a bay window, with a minimum of 24-inch projection. Alley or private drive access will be required. Principal buildings shall front a private drive or public right-of-way. The garage shall not occupy more than 40% of the total building frontage. This measurement does not apply to garages facing an alley and/or private access drive. Cluster-style mailboxes shall be required. Style and location of the cluster-style mailbox structure is to be approved by the planning director. Proposed townhome development shall be required to include one of the following community amenities within the development plan: an exterior gathering area. The exterior gathering area must be reserved exclusively for the social interaction of residents and their guests. Or fenced community garden. A fenced community garden must have a minimum planting area of 200 square feet and be maintained regardless of residential use. Or an equipped walking path with sitting areas. The walking path should be a minimum of 500 feet long and 5 feet wide. Rules and safety guidelines should be posted along entry points to the path. Or an equipped playground. Playground and play design must be safe and accessible for children of different ages. Or a covered pavilion with picnic barbecue facilities. The shelter must be a permanent structure made of weatherproof material, permanently attached to a concrete foundation slab, and match the developer's architecture, match the development's architectural style, or other community amenity of similar type and intensity as approved by the planning department. There shall be substantial compliance with the conceptual site plan received by the Planning and Development Department on June 1st, 2020, and whereby the exact layout of the project may contain minor deviations approved by the planning director, provided the deviations remain consistent with the purpose and intent of the council's approval of this petition. Notwithstanding the contents of the conceptual site plan, the project must meet or exceed the requirements of the zoning ordinance, all other applicable city ordinances, and these conditions. The site plan may be revised with the approval of the planning director in order to comply with city codes and zoning conditions. Unless otherwise noted herein, compliance with all conditions shall be in place prior to the issuance of the first certificate of occupancy. Development site shall comply with the requirements under Article 23, Section 2301, which is the landscape buffer requirements of the Statesboro zoning ordinance. And finally, at the developer's expense, sidewalks internal to the development site shall connect to the city sidewalk facilities to be located along Packing House Road as required and approved by the City of Statesboro Department of Engineering and Public Works. That is my presentation.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for the request? Anyone here to speak?
Yes, sir. I'm Jeremy Hart with EMC Engineering. If you have any questions.
I'm Jeremy Hart with EMC Engineering. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Did builders have any problems with our suggestions?
No, sir, they do not. Actually, Durance, with Mark Smith is also here. At this time, no, there's no
Good.
issues with any of these.
All right. All right, anyone here to speak against? All right, seeing that it is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Now we'll open it up for council discussion, for any questions by council.
Do we close the hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not. Is there a motion to close? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, John threw me off a little bit. I know he wanted to have a question or two. We're gonna open it up for discussion. Any discussion by council?
Kathy, these are gonna be single family, so they're gonna be individually owned? Or are they gonna be, is it gonna be a single subdivision?
They'll be around.
I believe that.
One owner, so it's not gonna be subdivided? Okay. Because the single biggest problem we have in the city is with condominiums that don't have a strong homeowners association. Park Place, Stadium Walk, Valley Trail, all those are so. But this is gonna be a single owner, basically an apartment
It'll be an
complex?
extension of the Harper subdivision, where we're doing the single family rental now, which is individual homes.
Right.
Extension of that.
Okay, but single owner?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any further discussion by council?
Say again, this will be an extension of which complex is already owned and operated like this?
The Harper subdivision, which is directly behind it,
Oh, okay.
it's a 150 unit single family rental property.
So this will be different construction,
It'll all be
townhomes,
behind the
but-
same gate, all gated in that one community. The townhomes will be in the front, the single families in the back, it's all gated, all private roads, one owner for all of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council? Okay. All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Right.
All right, let us show that agenda item 7 is passed. Thank you, Councilwoman Matt. We'll move to agenda item 8, public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve application SE 20-0602. Billy H. Hill requests a special exception from 0.48 acres of property located at 882 Northside Drive East to utilize the commercial building and associated site improvements as an automotive sales use in the CR zoning district. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Kathy?
Thank you, sir. The applicant, Billy H. Hill, has requested a special exception to allow for the utilization of an existing commercial building located at 882 Northside Drive East. The applicant intends to use the property as an automotive sales business, which is not a permissible use by right under the subject property's current CR commercial retail zoning district regulations. So if we can show the site. Here we are. Okay, that is along Northside Drive. The future land use plan shows this to be a neighborhood center type of use. The zoning is, the existing zoning is the commercial retail, which is the purple area. That's the site up at the top picture. And then we have some other surrounding land uses for you to see. That is it. At the July 7, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the commission voted 6-0 to recommend approval of the special exception requested by application SC 20-06-02 with the following enumerated conditions. 1, use of the subject property as an automotive sales use shall be conditioned upon the following site requirements and standards. Excuse me. 1, landscape buffer shall be required along the property line abutting Northside Drive East. This landscape buffer shall extend from the southwest corner of the subject site along the property line abutting Northside Drive East to the current subject site driveway entrance. Buffers shall be no higher than 3 feet in height at maturity and consist mostly of shrubs or other landscape buffer plantings as approved by city staff. This landscape buffer shall not be planted within or allowed to obstruct public rights of way as specified in the Statesboro City Code, Chapter 86, or otherwise cause a visibility safety hazard for vehicular traffic as may be determined by the city. 2, owner shall be required to remove the wood decking located in the front yard setback area. No parking shall be allowed on an unimproved area of the subject site. Next, the total number of vehicles parked at this location shall not exceed 10. If the applicant desires more than 10 parked vehicles at this location, then a detailed site plan must be submitted to city staff for review and approval prior to allowing more than 10 vehicles parked at this location. An occupational tax certificate shall not be approved for the proposed automotive sales use until these site requirements and standards are deemed complete for city staff's inspection. Approval of the special exception does not grant occupational tax certificate approval as submitted. Applicant will be required to submit a business license application for city staff's review and approval. And finally, the special exception for the automotive sales use of the site is specific to the subject property. Any significant future phases or changes to this proposal must first be reviewed and approved by the city council. That is my presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request?
It's the auto store. I just want to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about what business we're doing there. I own 3 other car dealerships right now, one in Effingham, one in Chadron, one in Claxton, Evans County. So this will be our 4th location. We actually started here in Bullock County about 30 years ago. I've been in the business ever since. Used to rent some property from Mr. Franklin's restaurant right there when he was down on at the crossroads there. We've been looking at this area for about a year. My wife and I both went to school here, Georgia Southern, graduated from here, so we've been familiar with the Statesboro area for quite some time. Been looking at this area for about a year for a place to put a location. We found this one. It's for this piece of property because of the zoning seemed to line up with what they were doing. We're what you would consider buy here, pay here lots. We do our in-house financing. We cater to the customers who can't secure a traditional loan at a bank or lender. So they come to us. We don't do credit checks. It's kind of a personal thing with us and them. We, like I said, been doing this about 30 years, a family-owned business. Me, my wife, my 2 sons work for me. About 15 other employees between our lots. We have our own mechanic shop back at our location in Effingham, where we have a 4-bay garage, 3 mechanics. All our our cars coming there. They're all serviced and ready to go out on the lots from there. Won't be any transporters parked out in the middle of Highway 80 or anything unloading cars. Won't be any cars left on the property. If there's a car that's been accident, can't unsellable, whatever, it's taken back to our shop over there. We have 3 acres of storage facility. So when you ride by our lot, what you see out there will be for sale, running, good condition cars, not a lot of stuff, piled up, an eyesore. We own all of our properties. Every lot we have, we bought the property, we own it, there's stick-built structures on them. We take a lot of pride in what we do with our car lots, like it's been our business for 30 years. And, one of the reasons why we look here in Statesboro is because, we have a lot of customers that come from Bullock County now for other locations, and they're just constantly asking us about coming into this area. We feel like we provide a services that works, and we've submitted the site plan with them, showing where the property will hold 42 units. We were initially asking for around 30, but when they did the site plan, our engineer came up with 42 parking spots, what it would hold, more than what we were, looking for. So it's will work great for what we want to do. Is there any question, we're glad to answer if you have anything else.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak against?
Not against, but I'd like to put a few words in for. My name's Tony Crosby. I'm with Statesboro Properties. I represent the sellers on this property. And as y'all can see from the pictures, this property is on Northside Drive. It used to be the old battery store and then the old golf cart place. So the area there's been sales done in that area. Right next door to it is the Enterprise car rental place, which you can rent a car there or you can buy a car from them. So it kind of fits right in with what's next door. And as Billy was saying, they get a lot of Bullock County customers in Effingham or in Claxton buying automobiles. And to me, that is our tax dollars that could be coming in here, going there.
Yeah.
And so, I'll just encourage the council to take that into consideration when they vote on it.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone speak against? All right, Senate, there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any council discussion?
I'd just like to ask a question. I don't know much about the used car business. When you say you do your in-house financing, that it's a personal relationship, is the deal that they buy a car and there's something in the motor that you can cut it off remotely if they don't make the payment? Is that how that works these days?
Those are available. We do not use them personally. We do, when I say personal relationship, I mean, we're not checking credit, we're not doing background checks, we're basically, the customer comes in, we're looking at their job and their stability, their time in the area, and then it's just our 15 or 20 minutes of having a conversation with them. Then we make our decision based on that, not whether Beacon scores a certain number or if their income's a certain level, we're not looking at any of those things. It's just kind of like I said, I make the decision, my sons work at most of our lots, they make the decision, they call me, we talk about what we feel like the customer's ability to pay the loan, and it's kind of how we make our decision. We do not use the remote shut off deals for any of our lots.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions by council?
Did you have any issues with the planning commission recommendations?
No, sir. Well, the 10, but we've submitted a site plan showing that we could park more cars there than that, so, other than that, no, sir.
Thank you.
All right, any further questions by council? Okay, and so as a point of clarification, Kathy, if we do it with your recommendation, it will be 10 or will it be 42?
Well, it says 10, subject to approval of site plan review,
Okay.
and we are still reviewing that site plan. So
Okay.
the idea is to work with the applicant. There are 10 paved spaces out there that we counted, that's how we ended up with the number 10.
Okay.
So anything more, we'll need to have an approved site plan that meets all of our code requirements.
Okay, thank you. All right, all right. With that being said, is there a motion to approve?
So moved,
All right. All right, and with that being said, all those in favor?
with conditions, I guess, yeah?
Yeah.
What are we on? I'm sorry.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We move down to agenda item 9, which is a public hearing, first reading of ordinance 2020-06, of ordinance revising city ordinance 2-2.4 regarding ordinance revision procedures for mayor and council. Kane. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kane.
Mayor, council, y'all had asked me at the June 16th work session to make an amendment to 224, which is the ordinance, which is the transparency ordinance. The way it exists now, which has been in effect since December 4th, 2018, is that a motion has to be made at a regularly scheduled meeting of council, and then the directive for me to draft the first reading is done. The one that's brought before y'all today is a revision of that. What it allows for is that any two members of council, the city manager or the mayor, may direct that an ordinance revision be prepared for presentation at a work session. Then that draft would be reviewed at work session, and an affirmative vote of mayor and council would be required to move it forward to first reading. And what happens at first reading and second reading is the same as it is now. That mayor and council may either approve the first reading for it to be moved forward to second reading or consideration, or if any substantive changes are made to it, then it reverts back to first reading. Furthermore, it retains those the formalities waiver that was in the prior ordinance or the existing ordinance that allows a unanimous vote of mayor and council upon recommendation of staff to waive the formalities and go ahead and approve that measure as it comes up. But the difference is that the directive to draft the ordinance in the first place could be made by any two council members, mayor or the city manager for review at work session to determine if it moves forward to first reading. And the first reading would not be held at a council meeting immediately subsequent to that work session where it's initially reviewed. It would be on a date not the same.
All right, thank you, Ken. All right, is there anyone here to speak against? I'm sorry. Anyone here to speak against? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any council discussion? All in favor? I'm showing out today. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good deal. All right, any council discussion? All right, seeing that there's no council discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, all those opposed?
Nay.
All right, let it show that agenda item 9 is passed. We'll move down to agenda item 10. I believe it's our mayor and council recommendation that we table agenda item 10 until we can get to allow further discovery by staff. Is there a motion to table?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll move down to agenda item 11. Consideration of a motion to approve the second amendment to the agreement with T-Mobile regarding continued rent of space on the city-owned water tower at 620 Park Avenue for cellular infrastructure. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, this is a good thing. Kane may have been involved in the negotiation. We've been doing a month-to-month lease with T-Mobile. The lease goes back to 2001. It had been renewed, but it expired in 2017. So they've been paying month to month. So now what we're doing is we're able to get a longer term lease, 25-year lease. And so what will happen is they will increase their annual payment to $38,000 for 1 year, and then in July of 2021 it'll go to $50,000, and then it increases 3% a year until 2042. Long time. And over that period of time, we're looking at revenues of about $1.8 million. And so we recommend it to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let it show that agenda item 11 has passed. We'll move down to agenda item 12. Consideration of a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Boys and Girls Club, Bullock County.
Mayor, members of council, per your direction, we have been funding the Boys and Girls Club for a number of years, but we didn't have a memorandum of understanding on record. And so what is before you today is basically a memorandum that just puts in writing the practice that has been in place for a number of years. However, a couple of things that we did add to this agreement is that called under payment for services, talk about the Boys and Girls Club shall additionally coordinate and cooperate with the Statesboro Youth Commission for the benefit of Statesboro youth. And then the other thing that has been a practice with the Boys and Girls Club, our employees have been able to utilize the Boys and Girls Club facility at least one day a week. I think on Monday evenings, they were able to use it for recreational activities for our employees. And so we want to put that in writing. So this will codify, document the agreement going forward, and then it would just renew on an annual basis, but we would have documentation for the funding for the Boys and Girls Club, and we recommend that you approve the memorandum of agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good deal. We move down to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding with BSD Statesboro LLC regarding installation of utilities infrastructure south along Highway 67 in Federal. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, this is an agreement with a company that basically we're talking about Optum Orthopedics. And that property is outside the city limits, but it's going down 67. And we know that 67 is going to be improved, and that's probably a growth area for our city. And so what we want to be able to do is extend water and sewer and gas down into that area. And by this agreement, they're going to help us pay for that. And so we want to recommend that you approve the agreement between BSD Statesboro LLC for the installation of utility infrastructure along south along Highway 67 and Fair Road. And it could be an approximate cost up to $560,000, but it's in preparation from the enterprise funds for extended services. We want to help Optum, but we also want to help ourselves so that when development occurs, we're already in the area. We want to recommend it to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Are they running it down both sides of the road, or are they going straight to Optum, or are they going to, or are they?
Approach.
Thank you, Mr. Penny, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm Steve Rushing, attorney here in town. I do represent BSD Statesboro LLC, has one of their owners here as well as our engineer. And we have been negotiating an area to reach out to this property that BSD owns. We have been negotiating with Kiwanis Club of Statesboro. They own property which presently touches or the road across the road from where the current city services are, the water and sewer. It reaches all the way down 67 and back to 67 where our property is located.
Yeah.
So we have negotiated with them, and they are on board with us, and we've been kicked in a little bit to help them come to the table. But they are granting easements across their property back over to 67, and then we'll go under 67 to the Optum property. Right now, Optum Orthopedics is leasing a facility further out, 67. This is for the purpose of constructing a whole new facility that they will own and move their medical practice to. It also will have some additional sites in addition to their main site that they hope to attract other medical providers to that area. And we look at this as kind of a joint venture with the city to extend these, it's gonna benefit us and the city. So that's the reason we've kind of come to terms with this, contributing of funds to it. I know the doctor would love to tell you a little bit more about the project, because I've done the legal part of it, but if you give him a couple of minutes, and of course Clark can answer any technical questions also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm Thielen Gaines. I appreciate y'all giving me a minute to speak. We're real excited about being part of Statesboro and the community. Our practice has been here for quite some time under the name Optum for about 10 years now. We are lucky enough to be able to take care of Georgia Southern and all the surrounding high schools, in addition to providing 24/7 coverage for orthopedic injuries in the community and the hospital here as well. Our frequent concerns from our patients with our current office building is we don't have parking, we don't have waiting, the space available for our patients to get safely and conveniently in and out is difficult for them. We are trying to attract the patients in Statesboro to stay in Statesboro. We're trying to attract young professional nurses, therapists, x-ray techs to stay in our community. We want to attract new physicians to come and replace our aging population of physicians in the community. And all of these things have led us to look for a place where we can build a facility that will serve the community for the years to come. We found that place. One of the problems with the place is that we need the utilities. And I feel like this place and bringing the utilities there will help a lot of existing businesses, will help the fairgrounds and the good work they do for our community. And I appreciate y'all listening to our interest in doing this together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion by council?
I just want to mention I'm Carson Barham with Maxwell Reddick and Associates. I've been working with city staff, Steve Hotchkiss, on the route, the planning, and with Kiwanis on the easements. And so if you have any technical questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's,
Okay, so would this enable us to continue down 67, water and gas and all that?
Well, for water and sewer.
For water and sewer? Okay. Yeah, because once 67 is done, and with the growth of the port and the expansion that they're doing in Richmond Hill and in Bryan County, Fair Road is gonna become a bedroom community for folks, going, whether they're coming to Statesboro or whether they're going to Savannah. And if we don't get water out there, someone else will.
any further discussion by council?
Thank Optum. I like to thank them. I mean,
Yeah, thank you.
they're here to make money, but these guys give their time to every high school, every,
You know,
they're here to.
we're gonna support them now,
Absolutely.
they're here to make money.
Good job.
Yeah, this is America.
Well, my mom was serviced at Optum, and she spoke highly of you guys, so fortunately for you, she did.
Good deal, good deal. All right, with that being said, there's a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 14. Consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2020-22, a resolution to amending the scope of change for the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Statesboro and Georgia Environmental Financing Authority. Mr. Pink.
Mayor, member of the council, if you remember, we talked about needing to amend our document with GFA because of the yield of the water that would, the earlier projection in the agreement was about 300,000 gallons a day. And since we've had the engineering work done, it's really gonna be about 100,000 gallons a day. So we wanted the document to reflect the actual amount. So what this will do is amend that document so that we won't be held to a number that we can't reach.
Okay.
So we recommend your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let us show that agenda item 14 is passed. We'll move down to agenda item 15. Consideration of motion to approve a modification of promissory note with Georgia Environmental Financing Authority for SRF loan, CW 2019010. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, with the pandemic, what the state is asking, what they're allowing us to do is they are extending our payment period on that loan. And honestly, it's not a lot of money, but it's something that they're offering to us to give us a little bit, instead of, we get to extend until the end of the year. And so we recommend that you approve this modification to the loan document.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will move down to agenda item 16, which is consideration of a motion to award a contract to Preferred Site Construction in the amount of $153,644 for sidewalk improvements to Hurley Drive and South Edgewood Drive, with approval to spend up to $200,000 for additional work based on contractors' unit bid prices. The project is paid from 2018 T-SPOS funds. Mr. Penny.
In there, we got a good price for the extension of that sidewalk, and so what we want to be able to do is, if we're able to modify it, some more, to be able to spend up to $200,000 of these funds on this project. There is some additional funds, about $356,000 allocated, but as I understand it, me being new to it, there's a bridge, maybe a pedestrian bridge, which we're getting ready to go out to bid for. This will not include the pedestrian bridge, but it will accommodate sidewalk work, and then we'll be coming back to you for the pedestrian bridge.
Okay.
We recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 17, other business from city council. Is there any other business? All right, seeing that there is none, we'll move down to agenda item 18, city manager comments. Any city manager comments? Okay, we move down to public comments. Any public comments? All right, seeing that there is. I know,
We
right?
need some public first.
Yeah, I know it. So we move down to agenda item 20, which is consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, real estate and/or potential litigation in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
If
We
needed.
need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
So moved.
We do.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
So I just,
What have we done?
Who did the
Personnel and litigation.
So what?
Who did the first?
John?
And who?
All that